welcome Melissa, Erin Jackson to the Magic of Cozy's podcast. Thank you so much for speaking with me today.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. So, can you tell us about your journey into writing paranormal cozy mysteries?
So my way in was a little weird. My first book is a paranormal mystery series. It's very much not cozy. And the editor that I got for that one, she seemed to like the book so much that we basically became friends after that. And she works with a lot of different authors, and she was working with someone who she basically like created imprints, and then she would hire writers to essentially be ghost writers. Your name would still be on the book, and she would pay you to write the book, but she would keep all the rights, essentially. I'm like, and it was cozies, and I'd never written a cozy before. And I'm like, I'm just getting started. It'll be a way to get my name out there. So, like, I'll try it. So part of the contract was writing like a 5-book summary of like what your series was going to be. So I wrote up that. And then I wrote book 1, and I tried to convince myself that I was like, okay, writing these characters and then giving them to somebody else. And then of course, like the closer it got to like actually publication time, I was like, oh my God, what have I done? And so I sent the book off to that same editor friend, cause she worked with her. And so she got the book edited. I got paid the $500 to write the book. And I'm trying like emotionally to be okay with this. And shortly before the book was essentially going to be published, the woman who ran the imprint contacted me and said, so listen, I'm going to dissolve the imprint. So you can keep the money and I'm reverting the rights back to you. I'm like, okay. So then I've already self-published one before, so I kind of knew what I was doing. And so I contacted the same woman who did my cover for the other book. And I was like, this is a sort of weird situation I'm in. If I wanted to order like a pack of 5 covers where they're very similar, other than like maybe the color scheme, like would there be like a package rate that I could get for 5 books? And so she kind of tried to figure out if she did all of them at once, she could give me a discounted rate. And it was $500, which was how much I was paid to write the first one.
Nice.
So, and I was like, well, I guess I'm writing 5 books now. And I sort of already had a summary, like already written for the series, so I got into it in a very roundabout way.
Right. Well, that's awesome
Yeah.
that you were able to, in time, get the rights.
Yeah.
And so what inspired you to blend the elements of cozy mystery with fantasy supernatural themes?
I have like 4 series out right now, and basically all of them do that. Mm-hmm. So like I've always loved cozies, like I watched Murder, She Wrote, I read Lillian Jackson Brown. And it's like I knew what cozies were, I think, without knowing the term necessarily. So like I stumbled into cozies already in a kind of a weird way of writing them. But everything I write has some element of other. So I think me writing something that didn't blend supernatural elements would have actually been weirder for me. Mm-hmm. And I've tried writing contemporary stuff before and I can't do it because there needs to be magic or aliens or, dead bodies or, like something in it to sort of keep me interested. So sort of couldn't have been anything else.
Yeah, same. I mean, it's much more fun with those elements.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's like the real world's fine, I guess, but magic's better.
Yeah. It's a better escape too.
Yes, for sure.
How do you approach world building in your cozy mystery series and make it believable?
I think for me, like probably the biggest thing that I find important, it's less about the details of what's in the world building, and it's just staying consistent with whatever you come up with. So come up with your own rules for what the world is and just stick with them. So, I mean, it can be as weird or as out there as you want, but I think as long as you're consistent, that can make it believable. There's a book that I really love by Maggie Stiefvater, The Scorpio Races. And it's it's an island where every November water horses come out of the ocean, and the people who live there can have the opportunity to race these horses for prize money. And as weird as that concept is, she writes it in such a believable way that I actually stopped at one point to look up the island of Thisbe because I didn't know if it existed or not. Like I assumed that like the water horses weren't real. I was hoping they were. But but that she made it up, sort of like,
Yeah.
oh no, this place doesn't actually exist. So I think you can go as weird or as wacky as you want, but as long as the rules are consistent throughout, then they're believable.
Oh, I have to say, in reading the mythical pet sitting mystery that I do have, I have it. I really appreciated the map.
Oh,
So many times authors create worlds, and you're always like, as a reader, I'm always like, okay, I'm trying to like orient myself in the town and trying to see. And so I remember getting it in the mail and then like opening it and I was like, there's a map. And I was really, really excited about that.
well, like, and honestly, like, I would say like 75% of the reason for getting a map was for me because I was like, oh, now I can keep track of where everything is. Cause like I have a horrible sense of direction. Like, I walk into a parking lot, I'm like, I have no idea where my car is. So, like, how am I going to keep track of all of these areas in in a town? So, yeah,
Yeah,
the
same.
map's very
I
helpful.
live in Arizona, and people who are from here orient their north, south, east, west with the mountain ranges. And I am originally from New Jersey, the East Coast, and there was like, oh, it's, northwest on the northwest side of the road. And I'm like, is it left or right? Like, I don't know.
Exactly.
I am not
Yeah.
good with directions either.
No, if you say east or west, I'm like, I'm just going to walk into the ocean or
Yeah.
something. Like, I don't know what that means. I have no sense of
Yeah.
that whatsoever. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So what advice would you give to aspiring authors who are interested in writing paranormal cozy mysteries?
I think reading is going to be the biggest help. And it's like, I think whether it's a contemporary cozy or a paranormal cozy, like there's not a lot of rules that you have to stick to for the genre. It's going to be a close knit community. There's going to be no cursing. There's going to be a crime of some kind. It doesn't have to be a murder. And if you're focusing on the puzzle instead of gory details, there's usually like no sexual content, but like beyond that, sky's the limit of what you want to do. So I think when it comes to something like paranormal, where the sky is even more the limit, you can just reading like various cozies will give you an idea of like what kind of paranormal element like resonates with you, whether you want it to be witches or, you know, ghosts, or like in my case, you've got, baby dragons or whatever, like kind of whatever you want to do. I think just seeing kind of what other people have done and like what elements resonate with you, and which ones don't work for you, and sort of kind of come up with your idea of what you want yours to be based on, what you've read.
That's some great advice. So, what is your definition of magic?
This one has stressed me out because I don't.
There's no wrong answer.
I know. Well, I think that's part of the problem. Is like there's so many answers. So like I mean, part of it is like kind of creating something out of nothing to some degree. But like as cheesy as it is, like I feel like writing and books are magical because there's something that's I've created something in my head and somehow the words on the page convey that, and then someone else reads it and it goes into their head. Like there's something very magical about that. And that you can, two people who've never met can have a conversation about characters who don't exist, that someone created somewhere else. That's pretty magical to me.
I think it's pretty magical that you gave a very similar answer to another author that I just interviewed. That was along the lines of her answer as well. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, wow, very cool.
Yeah.
But yes, I do agree
Yeah.
with that.
Yeah.
If you could have a magical power or ability, what would it be and why?
So, my day job is as a pet sitter dog walker, which is a lot of the inspiration for like that current series. So, sometimes I think having the ability to be able to speak to animals could help with my job. But then I also think of like those gulls from Finding Nemo, just like mine, mine, mine. Like I would like. There's a lot of dogs that I take care of. That would just be like treat, 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 or food, 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 and I would lose my mind. Um, I don't know how many of them would have like full on conversations with me, so I might regret that almost immediately. So I think a safer answer would be like telekinesis,
Mm.
but partly just because it would help with like my laziness problem. So it's like, oh no, the remote's on the other side of the room. I could just sort of like magic it over to myself. I think that's a safer answer than the animals.
Yeah, that, I mean, I'm with you. If I could have everything come to me on the couch, that would be so much
Yeah.
better. I think I would have.
Well, as I think like a lot of like, I mean, me as a kid, and part of it is from watching The Craft
Mhm.
and how there was always that scene where she just sort of like put her hands over her hair and like changed color. It's like, oh, if only I could do that. But like, I'm sure all of us have tried to like really like just will like a door to close with your mind. Like, yeah. So I did it a lot as a kid and it never worked, unfortunately. So I think telekinesis for sure.
Yeah. So what is your favorite way to get cozy with a book?
So like the majority of my personal reading is actually audiobooks.
Mhm.
So I'm in the car a lot. I'm walking dogs a lot. There's some days where I'm walking 15 miles. So I need something to keep me company because the dogs don't talk to me. So it's like I usually am reading when I'm driving, when I'm walking, when I'm doing dishes. I don't do a lot of like curling up with a book. Every once in a while, like I'll get like an audiobook that I absolutely cannot stop listening to. So like I'll like lay down and listen to it. But then I'm usually also playing it like a phone game at the same time, which isn't super cozy either. Like because I can't seem to not multitask.
Mhm.
So I'm not very good at doing the cozy thing. I don't think always doing something.
So, you said you read a lot of audiobooks. What are you reading now? Any book recommendations for our listeners?
So I'm currently listening to Metal Slinger by Rachel Schneider, which is a romantasy.
Mhm.
I think I'm only 2/3 into it. Um, I read very widely, like I bounce around between genres all the time. I bounce around writing different genres a lot too, which is probably not good. And then the book I read before that was The Perfect Marriage by Geneva
Mhm.
Rose, which is a like a domestic thriller.
Mhm.
But my go-to recommendation, which is not cozy at all, is the Dungeon Crawler Carl series. Like I'm obsessed with it. The audiobooks are incredible. I've listened to them 3 times through already, and there's like it's up to 7 books now. Um, yeah, I always recommend that one. But it's like it's not cozy. Um, and so it's like if you have like a warped sense of humor and you like fantasy at all, try it and try the audiobook because Jeff Hayes is a genius.
Okay. I will add that to my TBR.
Yes. Yeah.
Do you have any new projects you'd like to share or promote?
The cozy series I'm working on now is the one with the baby dragon. So it's the mythical pet sitting series. So I've been a pet sitter for 18 years.
Oh.
Um, so like friends and family have been trying to get me for a while to write a pet sitting themed cozy, just because I have a lot of stories. But it's like it's all so normal to me at this point that like I tried writing a contemporary pet sitting cozy and it was like too close to my everyday. Like I couldn't do it. Like I got 4,000 words into it and I'm like, no, I can't do this. And then I was reading a series where the main character, like she took care of mythical animals. I think something like that. I was like, oh, what if I do the pet sitting one, but it's magical animals instead? So I set this series in the same universe as my urban fantasy series. It's just like a cozier version of it. And I've always wanted a baby dragon, so I gave it to Deandra. So it's been fun to kind of incorporate how much experience I have with working with different animals and different people and lots of different personalities and putting it in a series. So that third one in that series just came out last month. And book 4 that has a talking ferret in it will be next year. So that's probably the main one at the moment.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And how can our listeners find you?
So probably the best place is my website or my newsletter, is melissajacksonbooks.com. I'm on Instagram and Facebook, and I'm terrible at keeping up with either one, but writer Miss Jackson on both of those. And I just recently got into TikTok, and I'm very, very bad at it. But I'm trying. And I'm melissa.jackson. Nope. melissa.erin.jackson on there. And I'm just promoting my books. Like I'm not doing like dances or anything like that, because I embarrass myself on a regular basis. I don't need to do that in front of like tons of people. So yeah.
I have not ventured into the world of TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
I've mastered Instagram, and that's probably where I'll end it.
Yeah. Probably wise.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being on the podcast and for sharing your love of cozies with us.
Yeah, of course.